Hi Comtech, coming to you here with another video. I wanted to do a little follow-up here on the wiring between these two pair here on the Singing Snow Couple from 2003. And if you also notice, they have been sprung from their base. They are no longer tethered to their base. These are the ones that we're going to get parted out anyway. I have another, let me reach down here below the bench here. So I have another pair that completely fully restored right here. They work fine. So they're working perfectly, and they have excellent battery boxes on the bottom. Somebody actually took care of these and they pulled the batteries. These two had each one of them had a stuck mechanism, and basically what I did to get these working is put new batteries in here on this set, and then she didn't move and he didn't move, but then I took the head and pulled it up, pushed it down gently, rocked it a little bit, and then she started to move. And I did the same thing, just grab the head here by the side while when you squeeze the button, turn it on. Now, very important, it's got to be playing its music, and you hear the music playing, and then so that at least you know that the thing's getting power. And then grab the head and move it up, and then push it down, kind of rock the body a little bit, and then he started to function properly. And this has been quite a while ago, and as you can see, they work fine and they animate correctly. So that is the good working pair. And then this one I wanted to part out because the battery box on this one, on the on this snow person here, was totally corroded. I mean, it was shot. I mean, it's the springs are rotten off, and the other plate the positive plate is completely missing. So that was no good. The battery box on the Snowman is fine. I just don't have the cover on there right now. I am borrowing power from this side, 4.5 volts, with that black wire, the black and red wire here. And I'm running power over to this one, because I actually opened this one up and then soldered on to the top of the battery box, because I wanted to check all the electronics, and then, her speaker and then her motor and all that, because this one is the one that contains all the electronics. And then what they're doing here is there's a ground, and there's a speaker wire that runs over for this speaker, and then there's also a motor wire that runs his motor from here. And then they would use each one would have its own battery power for the motor circuit. But so there's a common ground, and then there's a motor wire, like I said, and a speaker wire. And actually, I think there's another one. There may be a couple more of the Jingle Pals that actually use dual battery packs. So I really didn't pay much attention to that at first, but when I first messed with these, she sings, starts out singing first, and then he does. So, like in the first of the video, so basically stereo, because this one, when she sings, you only hear it from the right channel when she's sitting on the right, and then when he sings, you hear it on the left channel out of his speaker, because the speakers face out right here in the chest area. It's where they face out, right in here. And then when they both sing, of course, then you hear them both chime in and they both move. But they probably did the dual battery pack for first of all, to even out the weight between the two sides. So if you pick it up, and then also for battery longevity, because this she has her own motor, he has his own motor, and that would facilitate the extra current for the battery. But they both, of course, run on 4.5 volts. And then, like I say, that's what the black wire was for. And then the mechanism internally here is pretty neat. Let's see if I can pull this off. Should be a little effort, but I have that little, I got the, she has the little on switch there that's still hooked up. So you have this mesh on here that I mentioned last time, and that I didn't glue this back on, I just put it over that. The mesh will keep the fiber fill that's inside the Snowman, keeps all that fiber fill from infiltrating the mechanism here. So if I take that off, you can imagine if that fiber fill gets all down in here and starts getting trapped in this moving mechanism right here, that when it moves up and down, that's going to be a problematic thing over time. And if it gets down in here, and you know darn good well the way that stuff is it's kind of like insulation in a way. It's fibrous, and it will just get in here and start working in. So then they put this mesh in here to protect that from infiltrating the mechanic part of the snow people here on the Singing Snowman. Thought that was pretty neat. Of course, that's just one thing they'd have to do, and you can see the mesh on that is fairly tight the way it's woven, so it won't allow those little fibers to get in there. If you look in there, nothing's ever gotten in through there at all. So it's just another attention to detail that when the Hallmark made the these little toys, that they little props, that they utilized that method. But I thought it was pretty neat that it's now that you're aware of it, when she sings, sounds out of the right, and when he sings by himself, sounds out of the left. Didn't realize that before until I started messing with this a while ago. And then how I tested this is, since he had the good battery pack, I unplugged that and I checked the wiring with the digital voltmeter, and I found the positive output, and then I did some resistance checks across the pin, and I saw 2 with resistance. And then when I shorted to the pins, this motor turned on here on the Snowman. He started animating, and much more quickly than what he does coming from the controller, because they would use a PWM situation here in the controller to vary the speed, because otherwise 4.5 volts on that motor, he moves back and forth pretty quick. And then same with this one on this side. And then the other terminal, when I touched it with the positive off this pack, then I heard a clicking sound, and that was the click coming from the speaker in here in the Snowman. So that was the battery power being applied to the speaker. So I figured, okay, well, and then I opened both of them up to verify. This one is nothing but a gearbox, same kind of gearbox as this one, and a speaker, and then they common ground everything to the common on the battery pack, and then allow the power from the positive. One of these wires is the positive from the battery pack. And then that controller, all it's doing is closing a circuit for the motor, but it has to go through its PWM controller. And this has a little, the little chip, a little flat pack chip. Oh, the bubble chip, that's it. And the little bubble chip on the controller board, and some discrete transistors for the amplifier, that kind of thing. And then, of course, then the motor feedback, the motor feedback from here, and then the speaker. So actually, this has a little two-channel amplifier in it that runs this one and this one. This one's kind of unique, and I think, like I said, I believe if I go over here, I believe there was another one on this site. This Digital Dream Book. They've cataloged these. I was thinking, I was looking through here and found another dual battery box one. I don't know if it's this one. Probably, it won't show me the bottom of it, but I'd have to see the bottom. But it would tell me, okay, no, that's only going to use 3. Yeah, that's only 3 AA's, so that's not that one. So let's go back. Now for curiosity, now I have this one too, but that one only uses 1 battery pack. Let's see. It'll be the one that says it uses 2, you know. Well, anyway, I don't want to waste time looking for that, but yeah, it doesn't tell me that one either. But there was another one that I saw here that uses 2. It wouldn't be that one. Yeah, 3 AA's. But anyway, that's a nice little site, that Digital Dream Book, and they they got different stuff on here. But they catalog these of when they were made and when they came out. So this goes back on, and so basically these will just be parts, these 2 here, because the belts are really good in both of them. And set that back up here a minute. And the belts are good on both, so that's a good thing too, considering that these are, what, 21 years old now. So, you know, that's pretty remarkable that the belts are in that good a shape, but they're in really good shape. And the gearboxes. And you got to realize, you know, these things didn't really get a whole lot of use. It's not like you were sitting there pushing the button every 5 minutes and running these things. If they got used 1 year and got paid attention to, and then a lot of times they would just get set out for decoration probably too. But some people probably used them more than others, but I mean, this is something that wasn't like running all the time. So anyway, just wanted to do a little short video of how these 2 guys communicate back and forth, and then also that I had to rig it up this way with the black lead from this battery box to be able to power that one. All right, well, I do appreciate everybody for subscribing and watching my videos. So we will talk to you all later.